that's not good until they continue to be what life does to them, so to speak. You believe in the inner child that there's a true self there that's good. But the thing that I want to pass on to everybody that I think they can take home with them, and what I really prayed on before we got on the air over the last couple of days, was I'm so excited about having you on the show. I'm like a schoolboy that's going to take my parents to an assembly, and my dad or my mom going to talk about what they do career day with my dad. And I'm like bringing you in front of all the people that are listening to me. But here's one of the greatest things that I got out of the whole thing this weekend, reading your book and studying, is this. You describe a person as not being just that one dimension of their personality, which you call their sub-personalities. It can be anger, it can be joy, it can be frustration. But the self that's inside all that, if two people are both angry, a married couple that are having some difficulties, and they're both really looking for a fight with each other, their sub-personality, not their real self, is fighting with each other. And what you do all the time, and that you try to encourage people to do, is remember that one facet of your personality, that sub-personality, that's not who you really are. That's just your emotion that you're living through right now that needs to be tamed or calmed down or dealt with. And so your advice is always try to see through everybody and know that you're dealing with somebody that might be going through stresses and hardships, and they're a loving person. I like to say it like this: we're all unique, individual children of God. But what I'm saying is we have to communicate on a level of the true self, the core, and not with the outer sub-personalities. So that's kind of what I got deep into with studying you this weekend.
Well, Chris, that's the way we all, that's the way we can have the fullest, richest, most rewarding life. And that's the work, whether you call it forgiveness or something else, that's the work of really maturing emotionally and spiritually. It's to make a priority of coming home to ourselves, is the way I think about it. And that calls for, I think, if we really want to live our life out of that core self, it does call for some discipline of whatever it is that we, as I always say, there's 1,000 paths up the same mountain. But do we pray? Do we read inspirational literature? Do we consciously practice forgiveness? Do we make it a habit of serving other people in a loving way? Doing something that helps us to align with that core self. And then life just takes on a whole other kind of meaning than just, go to work, come home, put the television on, go to sleep, get up, go to work, put the television on. Something where we say, okay, I'm going to take 5 minutes today to do something. I'm going to read a book that helps me remember who I truly am, or I'm going to do some kind of spiritual practice or discipline that just helps me align with the energy of the peace that's at the core of who I am. And I think that doing these kind of things in this day and age is just critical and helps with, as I said, with physical illness, with emotional distress, with just anything that kind of throws us off base. I see it as essential in my own personal life to do these kind of things, to say, how can I stay on center as much as I can. I don't forgive every moment, but the more I do it, the more I practice these things. It's not necessarily that I don't react, But what happens is I catch myself reacting much more quickly. So rather than staying in a reaction for 6 months or 6 weeks or 6 days or 6 hours or 6 minutes, maybe I can notice that I'm really reacting in a particular way after a minute, and I can take responsibility for my reactions rather than just kind of living my life out as a victim of somebody else. And that's the beauty of forgiveness, which is when we're angry and when we hold on to resentment, it's like, who's making us unhappy? The other person is, obviously. You know, they're making me miserable, or they're making me unhappy, or my unhappiness is all their fault. We are not taking responsibility for our own emotional reaction. It doesn't mean that that person isn't doing something hurtful, but at the same time, is there a better way to respond to it that doesn't keep us locked in an unhealthy dynamic with the other person? And years ago, there was a Time magazine article, and on the front cover of Time magazine, it says, "Why forgive?" And inside the article said that the psychological case for forgiveness is overwhelmingly persuasive, because not to forgive is to be imprisoned by the past, by old grievances that do not permit life to proceed with new business. Not to forgive is to yield oneself to another's control. Those who do not forgive are those who are least capable of changing the circumstances in their lives. In this sense, forgiveness is a shrewd and a practical strategy for a person or a nation to pursue. And I just think that's so great. We often think, oh, forgiveness is such a lofty ideal. No, it's a shrewd and practical strategy, because forgiveness frees the forgiver. The bottom line is we all want to be happy. We all want to be at peace. And without forgiveness, it's not possible. And forgiveness is a practical strategy that will open the door to that kind of peace for ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Robin, one of the ways that you've helped me over the last 4 years, you've done for all of your, by the way, I want to get it on so I won't forget, your foundation is the Lionheart Foundation, and if you'd like to give your website so that people can find their way to your foundation and learn more, would you like to have them do that?
Sure. If they're interested, I'd love to have them do that. It's just simply www.lionheart, one word, Lionheart, or as a friend used to say, the animal in the body organ, the Lionheart, lionheart.org.
Yeah, not the D, it's just lionheart.org, correct?
That's right. Lionheart.org is the website.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just wanted to get that out there, and also rightthink.org, RIGHTTHINK.org. We're there for you. We want to connect with you, both Robin and I do. One of the things that I've gotten that's been very beneficial through my association with the being on the Lionheart's mailing list, so to speak, is that you send out meditations every now and then that I do, and in the Houses of Healing program, a core part of how Houses of Healing reaches people that are that traumatized and are going through that difficult in existence is through meditation. And I just want to quote this. This is you, Robin. I'm quoting you. You can have thoughts without being controlled by them. You can have desires, a desire for drugs or a desire for sex, and not feel like you have to act on them. Because in meditation, you're aligned with the part of you that is greater, is more senior, that is much more powerful than any passing desire. I think that meditation, to center yourself and to just rein yourself in and then connect. Could you talk about why meditation is so critical to healing?
Well, I think, that quote, it kind of points to that, which is, I believe that everyone has a part of them that is peaceful, at the core of who you are, that's aware, that can see things without defensiveness and without distortion. And it's where free will really comes from. We can choose the way that we respond to people and circumstances. And meditation helps people to align with, not just kind of try, it's really, I think of it as energetically align with that peace and that awareness and that power to choose. I would like to invite any listeners that care to go to lionheart.org/meditation/. It's just the word meditation with a / before it and after that. It's a back page of the website, but what it is 2 MP3s that just guide a person, one through a 12-minute mindfulness meditation and one through a 36-minute. So if you'd like to check it out, see, I've never meditated, or I'd like some support even though I have meditated. And I teach mindfulness meditation. This is a type of meditation that's taught in stress management programs in hospitals and all kinds of stress programs all over the world. It's very, very utilized now because there's been just an amazing amount of research done on mindfulness meditation, showing that it's very helpful in decreasing anxiety and depression and anger. People who meditate on a regular basis have improvements in all of these things. So, and it just fundamentally makes a person feel more peaceful it elevates mood. There's a lot being done now with MRIs in hospitals where when they take images of the brain, when people are meditating, they literally see the activity in the brain shifting from the part of the brain that is fight or flight to the part of the brain where the activity is more restful and calm. So it's a benefit in terms of well-being, physical and emotional well-being is extremely documented at this point in time. I would say safely thousands of articles on the benefit of mindfulness meditation. So I'm a great advocate for meditation. I do it every day in my own life and encourage the listeners just to check it out.
That's wonderful. That's a wonderful piece of advice, and everybody should take you up on that. I did, and I'm glad I did. Remember the old Brill Cream commercial back in the 60s? I came back, and I'm glad I did. Yeah. So, Robin, what I want to say right now, though, is what you've touched on that we haven't really said as direct as I'm going to say it right now is what we're trying to do to help people move forward in their life is to take responsibility for themselves and to forgive themselves, to not kick themselves too hard, and to move on. Another quote that I picked up from you is, all we really have is the moment. We don't have the past. The future isn't really here. So what I'm saying that Right Thinking Foundation, Lionheart Foundation, one of the things we have in common is our mission is to help people have a better life. We can call it to be more peaceful, just have a better life. But yours is centered mostly on for them to take the time, which is a process. It could take anywhere between a couple months to years to peel the onion skin away and get down to who they really are and realize that you are a worthwhile person. With that said, Robin, one of the things that I want to compliment and thank you for, your Houses of Healing program gives out 3 books to the people that need them. And that's just a wonderful thing. I want to let everybody know that, I'm telling you that Robin's a good person here. She's trying not to make her blush. But the Houses of Healing program that need that she's fulfilling by putting together a program that's going to help people that have deep trauma, that have committed crimes, that don't know how to make the changes they need to make. This program she has is many of the books that she has printed are given free.